So, it's Easter Sunday. I just got into the store and just wanted to share this with you guys. It is stupid out. Not a fan. But we're talking Cub Cadets today, and I'm stoked. Let's get after it. What's going on, YouTube? I hope you guys are having a fabulous Easter Sunday, or had at this point if you're watching this. Congratulations on getting to eat meat on Fridays again if you're into that kind of thing. I'm going to try and keep this quick today so I can get to dinner with my family. But today I wanted to talk to you guys about one of my favorite slash more unique mowers that we sell. The Ultima ZTS1 from Cub Cadet. It's a true zero-turn mower. Just put the steering wheel in your hands instead of using a lap bar. So we've seen pretty fantastic performance from these things and pretty minimal issues. So kind of wanted to give you guys the rundown on these today, so we'll get after it. So I was gonna wait to do a video on these, but I only got 2 of these this year and we have sold both of them. So I figured we better knock this out before I have to deliver both of them. So obviously, first thing, availability might be an issue. If this is something you're looking for and you find one, don't hesitate because they're gonna be gone quick. Cub's having some pretty serious issues getting product out right now. I have no idea if I'm gonna get any more Cubs this year. Now, it's no secret that Cubs aren't necessarily my favorite brand that we sell. The major ones we sell are Ariens, Gravely, and Cub Cadet. I do prefer Ariens and Gravely over Cub, but Cub Cadet is one of the only companies on the market making anything like this, and I really like this mower. This thing's really nice. First thing to point out, let's talk about the model names. Cub used to refer to all their residential zero turns as RZTs. Whether it had a lap bar or a steering wheel, they used to call it an RZTL if it had a lap bar, or an RZTS if it had a steering wheel. Now, just a few years ago, Cub came out with this frame design for their regular lap bar zero turns. It started to call it an Ultima ZT. So they dropped the L part, it's just called a ZT1. And it took them a couple years to do the same thing and change the design of their steering wheels, so they call this an Ultima ZTS1, meaning steering wheel. But they finally brought this thing into the current century. We've sold these steering wheel zero turns for a long time, have seen fantastic performance from them. Like I said, I really do like this mower a lot, but the thing used to be ugly. It looked like it was straight out of the 80s, so I was pretty excited when they came out with the Ultima chassis design on these this year. I had a feeling they'd be super popular. I was a little disappointed when all I got was these 2. We got the ZTS 146 inch. I just got 2 of those was all we ended up actually seeing, and like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna get any more, but we did order a few other models too. Now, just like any other model zero turn, this has 2 transaxles under it, and it still uses the EZT Hydro from Hydro Gear, or they call it the ZT 2200. So just like most of your residential zero turns, it's like I always say, that's probably the most commonly used one amongst residential zero turns anyway. So it still does 7 mile/an-hour forward, I think they say, and like 3.5 mile/an-hour in reverse. Only difference being on these, because of the steering wheel, is the front wheels or the steering wheel are synchronized with the transaxles. So as you turn the wheel, it controls rear wheel speed right to left depending on which way you're turning. So it does all that automatically. They call it their synchro steer system. That was always my biggest hesitation on these. I thought we'd see issues with it. Of all of these we've ever sold, my mechanic was having to fix, I believe, one of the little gears in the front end on one of the old models of these last fall, I believe it was. That's the first one of those I've ever seen have an issue. So we've had really good luck with these. They use a 20-inch tire in the rear. They've got a 13-inch in the front. You'll notice these have a treaded front tire where most zero turns will have a smooth front tire. The whole idea to these is these will hold hills better than a traditional zero turn. So between actually physically steering the front wheels with a steering wheel and having a treaded tire, like I said, these things will hold, I believe they say, up to a 20-degree slope, like running a side hill. So if you're mowing ditches and that kind of stuff, these will do a much better job than a traditional zero turn. Cub Cadet has almost exclusively used Kohler engines, I've noticed, on a lot of their stuff this year. The ZTS ones particularly, they only offer this Kohler 7000 series. They use this 22 horse on the 42 and 46 inch deck. I believe it goes to a 23 horse on the 50 inch deck, if I remember correctly. But this is a great engine. You'll see this used amongst a lot of brands too. Gravely and Ariens use this engine on a ton of their residential zero turns also. Now this is a 2x2 square tube frame, 2.5 by 2 inch front, we'll call it axle anyway. So Cub offers a 3-year bumper-to-bumper warranty on these. They do a limited lifetime warranty on the fabricated deck shell and the frame itself. Now, speaking of the deck, this is an 11-gauge fabricated deck. Like I mentioned, this one's the 46-inch. They offer a 42, a 46, and a 50-inch deck on these. One thing I'm not necessarily a fan of is that Cub only does 2 blades on their 42 and their 46-inch, and then they do 3 blades on the 50-inch. 3-blade decks tend to cut a little nicer. So I do wish this was, at least when you get into the 46, was a 3-blade. I guess I don't necessarily mind that the 42 was a 2-blade. They do only have 2 anti-scalp wheels on these. There's just 2 out the front, none on the back. Now they do have tilt steering on these, which is nice. So you got an adjustable steering wheel. Let me get up here. So these have a foot operated dial adjuster, similar to the Gravely's and Ariens I've done the reviews on in the past. It's just on the opposite side on the Cub Cadets. Everything's on the left. So push your pedal down, which kind of lifts the weight on the deck. And then you've got your turn adjuster right here. So there's 15 positions, I believe, ranging from 1 inch to 4.5 inches. So there, it's set at 3.5. Set the pedal back, and it'll set right back down to your cut height. Like I mentioned, these things are going to handle hills quite a bit better. Full disclosure, you're still sawing on a steering wheel all day with these, so they're not necessarily my absolute favorite in that sense. If you've got pretty flat terrain, stick with the lap bar one. They're just smoother and easier to operate. It has been the windiest couple of weeks here, I think, ever. So it's gotten really sad that I can be excited that the wind's only supposed to blow like 30 miles an hour today. That's depressing. But if you've got a lot of hills, a lot of slopes, this is probably the mower for you. That's why I love this thing so much, is it works great. It's a fantastic mower, so don't get me wrong there. It's just, you're still running a steering wheel. Some people are honestly pretty intimidated by the lap bar machines also. So this would be your solution right here. Now these do not come with an hour meter. They do offer it as a separate kit, but I don't love that. I thought that was a little strange, but you can buy a kit. I think it's like 50 bucks if I remember right. But typical key switch, electric PTO switch, pull it up to turn it on, throttle, manual choke, all the way up at full throttle there. Still super clean under the seat. I'm a fan of that. Battery and solenoid's about the only thing there. Gas tank, got a 3.5 gallon tank on it. Says a 20-inch high back seat on it. No armrests, but honestly with this steering wheel out in front of you, it'd be super hard to get on and off the thing with the armrests on it. You'd pretty much have them just flipped up all the time anyway. Slide adjuster, you can kind of see the lever sticking out the front there, so it is an adjustable seat as well. And then accessories. I always talk about there's LED headlights available for a lot of these mowers as an add-on. Cub Cadet gives them to you right out of the box. So this thing has LED headlights on it already. It also comes with a hitch already on it right out of the box, so you don't have to buy that separately. But they do have a full lineup of other accessories as well. I mentioned that hour meter kit is kind of an accessory kit you can add on to it. I wish that just came on it though. They have mulch kits available. There's striping kits available for these that mount right off the back of the deck back here. Obviously I don't have one on this, but now they do make a bagger for this, of course, if you can get your hands on them. I can't get any right now, which, like I mentioned, both of these I have are sold already, so I don't really care. But they're $400 to $500 in that range for a bagger for these. They're non-powered, so they don't work great, but they're sufficient. If all you're doing is fall cleanup, spring cleanup, picking up leaves, things like that, they work just fine. There's, of course, a few different pull behind carts. There's a dump cart that Cub Cadet makes that you can pull behind these. And of course, you don't have to buy Cub pull behind stuff either. You can buy Agrifab, whatever, but it's got a standard hitch already on it. You can pull pretty much anything as long as you're not talking too much tongue weight. Don't try pulling your boat around with it. All right, Easter dinner's wrapped up, and I suppose we'll finish this up now. I don't know what other people have on Easter, but we kind of have like a second Thanksgiving. We had ham, turkey, mashed potatoes, and I am by all means completely fine with that. I did eat myself miserable though. This was kind of a tough video to plan for this particular mower anyway. There's not a whole lot of debate, comparison. Nobody really makes these except for Cub Cadet. And I told you guys, I am a really big fan of these things. These are really nice. We've had such outstanding luck with them. I know technically the Ultima is new this year, but they've made a steering wheel zero turn. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, they just called it an RZTS before, which kind of stood for residential zero turn. The S meant steering wheel. They just updated them to the new chassis now. So the old ones were outstanding mowers, but they looked like they were straight out of the 80s. They were pretty old school looking and outdated. So when I first saw these when we were at GIE in Louisville, I got really excited about them. I was hoping we were going to see all the models we ordered and everything, and so far I can't get a whole lot of information from Cub Cadet or our rep at all. We've gotten these two 46 inches in the ZTS1 model, and we sold them both already, so it's why I had to kind of bang this video out now. But point being, either you need one of these or you don't. So if you really want the benefits of a traditional zero-turn lawnmower, you get all the maneuverability and everything out of it, but you've got that added stability on uneven terrain. If you got more side hills, if you mow ditches, things like that, these will do a better job holding hills than a regular zero-turn, and that's the beauty of them. I kind of touched on this earlier, but I do still prefer running a traditional lap bar mower because you're still going to be sawing on the steering wheel with this thing. So, there still is less arm movement and motion required on your part with a traditional lap bar style zero turn. But if you've got steeper hills and stuff, this is the mower you need. Where I was skeptical with these when we first started selling them years ago, I just assumed the way that steering wheel and the front wheels are synchronized to run the rear transaxles or the hydros. There's so much that goes into synchronizing that. I always just assumed we would see issues with them, but man, we have had such outstanding luck with these. Our primary mechanic that works on our riders all the time had to fix, I believe it was a small cam gear or one of the connecting rods underneath there for the steering in one of these last year. That's the first one we've had to touch. So for how many customers we have out there that have these things, other than basic maintenance stuff, nobody is ever really having to bring them into the shop for anything. So that's one of the biggest ways I feel like I can help you guys out, is that the individual consumer's sample size is always their own experience, or maybe one or two other people. I see the big sample size. I see the ones that come in the shop all the time and the ones that don't. And I can genuinely say there isn't one of these that we've sold that I've had the customer come back and wish they bought something else. But we still have to talk about price. You're going to be in that high 4 range for these, depending on the deck size. The 42 inch is $4,600. The 46 inch that I've got at my store right now, those are $4,700, and then $4,800 for the 50 inch also. I know I touched on the baggers earlier too. They're right around $500. And again, mower and bagger both. This is all a matter of if you can find them, because none of this holds true very long in our world anymore. If you're looking for one of these and you find someone that has it, buy it. It's not going to stick around. You're not going to see a whole lot more of them this year. And then once it comes back around to where we're getting more of this stuff, whether it's the baggers or the mowers themselves, prices are constantly changing. So expect prices to go up too. Cub's actually held pretty steady as far as price changes. They went through some price changes since we've ordered all of this stuff, which we do that back, late fall, early winter. That's when we're putting in our spring booking orders. But they haven't gotten terribly out of hand. Bagger prices really haven't fluctuated a whole bunch, but mowers have gone up a little bit like everybody's. I just haven't seen quite as drastic of jumps from Cub. I really do wish Cub would offer a powered bagger option. These are such a nice mower, and you get the guy that's willing to spend a little more money that wants a good bagger once in a while. The non-powered bagger they offer will work fine. It's just, if you're really using it a lot, you're cutting wet grass in the spring, you'll plug it up occasionally, and they just don't suck up as much. But like I said, if this is something you were in the market for and you're thinking about it, if you can find one and get one, I can about promise you're not going to be disappointed, at least from our sample size that we've got out there. I haven't had one customer disappointed in one yet. But this is where I'm going to leave you guys. I genuinely hope you found this helpful. If this is something you're looking for, I really do appreciate you checking out the video for me. I'm sure I left stuff out. Hit me up in the comments, guys. Let me know if you got any other questions. As always, support your local dealers if at all possible, guys. They're the ones taking care of you. I'll ask you like I always do, hit the subscribe button for me, hit the like button for me, and until next time, I'll see you.